Ancient hunter-gatherers lived a much healthier lifestyle than we do because they lived an extremely active lifestyle and were able to forage and hunt for food for long hours. So how have people adapted ancient eating habits to modern diets? And how do these modern diets compare to the eating habits of our ancestors? The paleo diet is the most logical place to start, and maybe the diet that most people think of when the words ancient diet are uttered. Despite the fact that this diet has been practiced for centuries, it has only recently gained popularity as a result of the internet and social media, where it is frequently discussed. People who eat a paleo diet cut out all processed foods. They believe that humans have evolved to eat how people did in the Paleolithic period, about 2.6 million years ago. This was at the beginning of the agricultural revolution, when farm animals began to be used for meat and dairy. According to Loren Cordain's book, The Paleo Diet, this diet is the only one that best suits our genetic composition. As a result of his study of the diets of these societies, Cordain discovered that 73% of hunter-gatherer societies get half of their calories from meat. He recommends avoiding dairy, legumes, and cereal grains while encouraging individuals to consume lots of lean meat and fish. The latter meals are excluded since they were made popular after the development of agriculture and cookery, which is the cutoff point, according to Cordain. He contends that following this, we started consuming food that was not intended for our bodies because we had altered it through cooking. Cordain and those who agree with him claim that the paleo diet can reduce the chance of developing diseases like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and acne. People of that period would have consumed around 30% of their annual calories from animals, but there would be periods where they scarcely got any meat at all. Paleo scholars argue that meat was not the only component of ancient diets. In fact, no one element can be picked out as most important because they all worked in conjunction to form a balanced diet. The keto diet is another incredibly well-liked contemporary eating plan that has historical roots. Although it was inspired a little later than the paleo diet, it is nevertheless historical. Epilepsy was treated using a method like the keto diet at least as early as 500 BC and again in the 1920s. The ancient fasting practices and some elements of food consumption, according to historians, are comparable to the present ketogenic diet. Hippocrates, a Greek physician who is regarded as the father of medicine, wrote that fasting may be used to treat epilepsy. He discussed how dietary modifications may affect epilepsy in it. Prior to the development of anti-epileptic drug therapy, the technique was employed once more in the early 20th century for a period of 20 years. Patients, most of whom were children, for whom the new drug did not function, were restored to the diet. The keto diet emphasizes eating lots of good and healthy fats while consuming as few carbohydrates as possible. The purpose of doing this is to deceive the body into entering a metabolic condition known as ketosis. The liver makes ketones while the body is in ketosis. Instead of creating insulin and glucose as the body often does in order to burn carbohydrates, ketones will cause our bodies to burn the fat that is stored in our fat reserves. Essentially, the goal is to make the body use a new type of fuel. The body starts to eat into its fat reserves to receive the energy it needs because there are little to no carbohydrates, making it impossible for the body to rely on the synthesis of insulin and glucose. By tricking our body into hunger mode without actually starving, fat is finally burned and subsequently removed. This is a very typical diet. However, it varies based on who you discuss it with and what they are trying to achieve. The Mediterranean diet is a different, less popular but historically significant diet. This diet frequently encourages people to eat lots of fruits and vegetables, as well as nuts, olive oil, whole grains, and bread. This is in contrast to Paleo or Keto, which emphasize the limitation of many items. The diet is based on the eating patterns of people from nations like Italy and Greece. This diet encourages the use of beneficial fats, the substitution of salt with herbs and spices, the restriction of red meat consumption to 3 times per month, and the consumption of an abundance of fish and poultry. Greek yogurt and other low-fat dairy products are also promoted. This type of cuisine is believed to have existed in these areas for hundreds of years, with roots in ancient Roman customs that were based on even older Greek customs. Wine, bread, and oil products have become emblems of rural life and agriculture in the ancient Mediterranean culture. The rich people had little need for animal flesh because they lived close to the sea and could eat plenty of fish. They liked veggies, sheep cheese, and different kinds of shellfish, like oysters. For instance, onions, leeks, cabbage, lettuce, carrots, and turnips were available to the Romans. Ansel Keys and Flaminio Fidanza, who researched 7 Mediterranean nations, are credited with popularizing the Mediterranean diet in modern times. Based on their observations of dietary habits in Italy and Greece in the 1950s and 60s, the modern concept of the Mediterranean diet was developed. The Greek diet had very high proportion of olive oil and fruit in the 1960s, whereas the Dalmatian diet had a high proportion of fish and vegetables. These academics believed that the success and advantages of this diet were further shown by the low mortality rates from heart disease in the respective countries. In conclusion, many of our current diets have historic roots despite the fact that many of us are unaware of this. While social media has undoubtedly contributed to the present obsession with weight reduction and health, the inspiration for many of the diets we try dates back further than that. Some people find it overwhelming and blinding to go to the distant past for nutritional advice because they lose perspective of how people actually lived. Our earliest ancestors' lifestyles appear to have become exaggerated in the present emphasis on meat. Therefore, determining the healthiest diet and lifestyle is a very difficult task, especially when one considers our ancestors, who led very different lives than we do now.